This is THV 11 News at 6.
After years of controversy over who can gather signatures for ballot questions, the state is now trying to keep tabs on canvassers as they're doing their jobs. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Brooke Buckner. Tonight, Carter Thweet hears from advocates alarmed by these new investigators.
We had 2 canvassers that were collecting signatures. They were doing everything they were supposed to. We're very proud of how well trained our volunteers are.
Sam Watson is a spokesperson for Protect Our Rights, a group working to get issues on the ballot through Arkansas's petition process. To do so, they must get a certain number of signatures, which is what volunteers were doing last week at this Little Rock church when a man approached them.
The gentleman identified himself as an employee of the Secretary of State's office and said he was investigating petition fraud. And asked to take pictures of their IDs.
Julia Taylor was one of those volunteers. She told me via email that it's hard to be a volunteer canvasser and to recruit others, and this incident might make it harder. The Secretary of State's office now has their driver's licenses.
We feel that the government shouldn't be sending people, we're not really sure what legal authority this gentleman had to ask for those IDs, and so it's a concerning development.
I reached out to the Secretary of State's office to ask. A spokesperson said nobody has to show their IDs and added that the man, quote, wanted to be able to say who he witnessed following the laws. The man in question is a member of the Secretary of State's office whose job is to investigate petition fraud, a priority for Secretary of State Cole Jester, as he said last year.
We need reform to make sure that when our Constitution calls someone's signature on a petition a vote, that we have real voter integrity.
Watson says this doesn't accomplish that.
We're really proud of our canvassers for keeping their head. It can be a little intimidating when someone tells you they work for the government and needs to see your ID.
In Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV 11 News.
Carter, thank you. That request to see an ID is notable since a new law requiring canvassers to check IDs of people signing their petitions has been put on hold by a federal judge. As of today, a canvasser needs to confirm you are an Arkansas voter, that you sign your name, and they have a copy of the full ballot question for you to read if you want it.
We have certainly been spoiled lately with these fabulous sunsets. Here's the one tonight. High-level clouds with the sun setting, giving off all of these wonderful hues of reds and oranges and yellows. That's what it looks like. And again, we invite you to share your sunset photos with us. I'll tell you how coming up in a few minutes. Current number, Little Rock is now down to 75 at 64 Fayetteville. There are 2 fronts. One is in eastern Arkansas. That is more of a dry line. The second one in the northwestern part of the state, where dew points have dropped off into the teens and 20s. So very dry air here. The winds were gusty today, low humidity values. So we've got fire danger issues in northwest and northern Arkansas. The air mass is beginning to dry out over eastern and southeastern parts of the state. The wind is up out there tonight as well. Breezy conditions will prevail overnight tonight as that secondary boundary moves through. And tonight's lows, by the time you wake up with Tracy Bean tomorrow morning, will bottom out around 43 here in the metro, 29 Fayetteville, 48 Monticello. The trend will be for cooler days and nights. I'll have that forecast for you in just a few minutes.
Tom, thank you. The race for Pulaski County prosecuting attorney is shaping up as a contest between 2 candidates with different approaches to crime and both facing questions about their past. THV 11's Tanya Motorzitsky breaks down where incumbent Will Jones and challenger Bobby Forrest Jr. stand.
Both candidates in the Pulaski and Perry County prosecutors' race agree on one thing: gun violence must be addressed. Where they differ is how they get there. Incumbent Will Jones says his office has focused on holding violent offenders accountable while also working with the community partners to prevent repeat offenders. He says when he came into office, it was 2022, a year after the most deadly time in Pulaski County that had 119 homicides. He says they reduced violent crime by 44% and shares they recently brought in a program called Group Violence Intervention that mimics how the city of Pine Bluff is working to reduce crime.
It really is an intervention, and it gives them something to replace the need to carry a gun. And it gives them, we bring them in and set them down and say, look, you're on this path. Let's get you off of this path. Let's get you some job training. Let's get you education. Let's get you some services. And we have all of that together. But if you won't do that, then you're going to leave us with no choice. We don't want to fill up more prisons.
If reelected, he says he's excited about working with the Arkansas Criminal Intelligence Network, a more than $5 million federal grant that it's first of its kind.
law enforcement data sharing network in Arkansas. There's not another one in the country anywhere. It's going to be run out of our office, and the entire state of Arkansas law enforcement will have a chance to share information at the touch of a button, which means crimes are solved faster.
His opponent, Bobby Forrest Jr., an attorney who's former law enforcement and business owner, says Pulaski and Perry County, says his backgrounds will shape a different approach with a focus on cracking down on gun crime, through what he calls his Smart Justice Initiative.
Looking at, well, what are the root causes of crime? And so we kind of see crime come out of three areas. That's going to be poverty, mental health, and addiction. And so we as prosecutors have an ability to look at those areas and to give back and invest in that as well, so that we're not also just clogging our system.
He says he plans to do that while working to break the school-to-prison pipeline by seeing what families, schools, and other partners need. People that start off being truant, they get into a cycle, and we'll see them in the system later on. If we know these things, then we got to focus very early at paying attention. If we know that young men without fathers are going to be a problem, then we need to partner with schools. Our job is to prosecute what comes in front of us, but it doesn't stop us from being community partners, from being in schools, talking with them, partnering with the city as well. That's their take on the issues, but both candidates have had their share of controversy leading up to elections. Jones recently made headlines for an affair with a former colleague.
That I'm sorry and that I'm working through it, but what I hear from them over and over is that they appreciate the job that we're doing and they understand that I'm human.
Social media points to concerns about Forrest's alleged Sherwood residence, but he says he has homes there and in Little Rock, as well as businesses, and says he followed the rules. Also coming to light was a post on social media with Forrest calling Arkansas State Trooper recruits future terrorists.
Out of context, and they're using that to create that fear of that I don't support law enforcement. That's nowhere near. I support law enforcement. I recently was endorsed, several endorsers from law enforcement.
In Little Rock, Tanya Motorzitsky, THV 11 News.
Tanya, thank you. DraftKings and FanDuel are working on making their sports gambling apps allowed here in the natural state. The two gaming giants could potentially be a third-party partner with one of the state's casinos. According to state law, at least 51% of revenue from wagers in the state would have to go to the Arkansas partner. The commission's next meeting will be a week from today. No agenda for that meeting yet. We'll bring you more details on the potential partnerships as we learn them. Looking ahead, the Big Dam Bridge will be closed to all traffic for a part of next month for a routine inspection. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says the bridge will shut down from 8 in the morning to 5 at night from March 9th through the 13th. Security gates on both ends will be locked during that time. Officials say they're coordinating with emergency crews and appreciate the public's patience while the work is underway. An effort is underway to bring PBS programming back to Arkansas. The newly formed group, Friends of Arkansas PBS, is leading pushback against the state's decision to drop national PBS programming on local broadcast affiliates this summer. The group is chaired by two Arkansas First Ladies, Barbara Pryor and Gay White. The network has already rebranded as Arkansas TV. CEO Carlton Wing previously told us it's shifting to more local content because paying $2.5 million in PBS dues isn't feasible after federal funding cuts. The group's first meeting is underway now. Catherine Rowley is there and will bring you the latest tonight at 10. A beautiful day like we're having today may make you want to get outside. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission and Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas are partnering up to boost outdoor recreation safety across the state. It will launch in the 2026-27 school year and will include the Commission's hunter and boater education programs, as well as a new ATV safety education program being implemented later this year. High school seniors who complete all three certifications will earn a special cord to wear at their graduation. AGFC spokesperson Trey Reed describes it as an extension of the education the agency already offers in schools.
We announced this past summer in a press conference with Governor Sanders how much of our outdoor education and conservation curriculum is becoming a part of Department of Education statewide curriculum. So instead of it being just something, an add-on you can do, that it's actually part of your curriculum that you'll go through in Arkansas schools.
The partnership is for 3 years, and you can find more information about these educational programs on the Game and Fish website. And folks in Searcy have the chance to name the community center coming to town. After the break, how you can submit your favorite and a recommendation from us. And after a major injury in a car crash, an Arkansas basketball coach is on the road to recovery. How he's inspiring his students after the break. Tom?
Today was the last day, close to 80 for quite a while. Temperatures coming back down to where they should be this time of year. Tomorrow, a high temperature of 60, partly sunny skies. Could have a couple of raindrops Friday and Saturday. The cooler readings coming up by the end of the weekend into next week. I'll have that forecast for you next.